Hey folks. A number of kind of powerful things came through today. I've had quite a morning. And something that I'm really becoming aware of, I wouldn't say that I've never clocked this before, but it's something that it's kind of showing itself more vividly than I've maybe ever, than it maybe has before. And this is something that I'm wondering if it's kind of a universal thing, like if other people have had this experience, because it feels like something that maybe happens to more people than just me. But I was doing an exercise in a book about worthiness, about unconditional love, and this is all kind of in the context of looking at our self-worth and how that affects our lives in ways that go beyond just how we feel emotionally, and how that's reflected in our finances and in our relationships. And what I was, I'm going to string a few thoughts together here, but what I was kind of struck by was one of the questions asked, well, what do you do in order to feel worthy? The sort of implication being that if we don't have a sense of unconditional worthiness, if we are not unconditionally loved, or if we don't feel as though we are, then we're going to be constantly chasing that feeling of worthiness through our actions in the world. And what I wrote down was, well, the way that I chase that feeling of worthiness, the way that I chase the feeling of lovableness, is by being a creative, by having the identity of a creative, and by trying to make myself into this inspiring, endlessly energetic, creative person. And because I figure, maybe I've been inspired by creatives all my life, which I certainly have. I've had a lot of people in my life who are just amazing people, just beautiful, whether these are teachers or friends or family friends, just people who have been seemingly endless sources of light and joy. And so I think I've associated, well, I want to be creative like them. Then I'll be lovable, right? And so what that means, if I have to be creative to be lovable, then that means all my creative work, everything I do, is being evaluated before I do it, before I put it out there. It's being evaluated for whether it's going to make me seem lovable. Well, that's quite a burden for any creative work to have to bear, right? How can inspiration really flow if the job of the inspiration is to make me lovable? The job of the inspiration isn't to allow what the universe wants to express to be expressed, or at least that's not the primary purpose. The primary purpose is to make Robin lovable. Well, no wonder, out of all this, I've found that doing creative work is exhausting. It's exhausting to have to do creative work all the time, bearing the burden of this work is going to make me lovable. That's exhausting. And not only is it exhausting, but it means that the actual inspiration, the things that are trying to flow through me, are being edited. Which, of course, is the kind of like first rule of creativity. It's breaking the first rule of creativity, which is letting what's there be seen. Because, that's what the muses are. The muses are what's here right now, what's entering my psyche. Without editing it, without deciding whether it's going to make me lovable. That's a pretty high bar. So, the sort of pernicious and really unfortunate effect of this is that it means that as I do all the things that I love to do, I end up doing them for the wrong reason. So this is the thing I was asking, like, if anybody else has experienced this, because it's almost like I've gotten so good at taking my passions, what is genuinely a love in my life, genuinely a source of joy, genuinely a source of just energy and just creative love, and turning it into a device for getting me affirmation or getting me love. And so now I don't have a break, right? Like now, the thing that I love most is also the thing that's most out of alignment with with reality, because the thing that I love most has now been taken and put onto a track where it's supposed to deliver something that nothing can really deliver, and that now means I can't withdraw into my passions. I can't seek solace in the enjoyment of my passion or of the creative things that make me feel playful and joyful, because I've taken them and turned them into this kind of like hamster wheel that's searching for validation or searching for love all the time. And it's explaining for me some of the exhaustion that I experience. Some of why I've been telling myself I'm going to have a writing practice and then just not sitting down and doing it. It's explaining for me why with these video posts where I'm feeling like they're this kind of like incredible opportunity and this incredible reflection of my journey, and also I feel like they're kind of becoming, sometimes I feel like I'm stymieing. It's like I'm not moving. And that sense of not moving is not because nothing's moving in me. It's just because all of a sudden there's some weird additional thing that they're supposed to satisfy, or that like I'm afraid to let in. as I say this, what comes up for me is that there's a certain kind of weightiness to a realization like this, in that it's unearthing a pattern, it's showing me a pattern that's clearly a big one. However, there's also a real lightness, a real joy, and kind of like a playfulness. You know, as soon as I realize the work that I'm doing doesn't have to make me lovable, the work that I'm doing is not going to make me lovable. It's not even related to that sense of whether I'm lovable. It's like everything relaxes, and the work can be the work. And that other dimension of the work, of feeling into my own self-worth, my own worthiness, my own unconditional lovedness, is its own thing. It's like it takes the shackles off of everything I do. And I just noticed as I was kind of going through this process a little earlier today, it was like this relief, this tremendous relief. And so I think, you know, I'm saying this here both to clock it for myself, but also to maybe ask, you know, anyone who's watching, are there ways in which we've done that? Are there ways in which we've taken what we love most, what's our kind of deepest, biggest passions, things we unequivocally know before thought are some of the most important things in the world to us, and turned them into devices that are kind of serving some kind of limited psychological function of giving us a feeling of validation or of lovableness or whatever it is. Because, man, if we can disentangle those, then all of a sudden, it's like we literally get to have our cake and eat it too. We get to have both. And it's both without any of the bad. It's both without the weight that each of them is attached to. So, you know, I have certainly kind of, my eyes are kind of being opened by this, and I'm looking at, well, okay, so then what do I really want to do? What if I did nothing? What if I just do nothing? Can I still be loved if I just do nothing? And somehow the idea of doing nothing feels really good. It feels really relaxing to just do nothing. And of course, I don't expect to do nothing. I just expect to not feel more loved because I do something than because I do nothing. If I can get there, then the relaxation of nothing, of like, there's nothing to do, can allow the muses to speak, and I can listen to them instead of evaluating what they're saying and hoping that, you know, it's going to make me look good or feel good or be loved. It's subtle distinction because the action that I take in the world might look the same. I might be doing the same things, following my passions, playing the piano, writing songs, whatever it is. The action might be the same, but the action won't be the same. It'll be a completely different action. The interior action of the thing will be a completely different action. And just tracking that and becoming conscious and allowing myself to be loved, to be love, to be unconditional love. That's big. So that's what's coming through today, people. I hope that maybe provides somebody else some relief as well. You're not alone. It's a thing. Thanks for watching. Much love. I appreciate you. Wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.